Hey Ginger Boy, welcome back once again to Lunar Magic 101. As I said in the last episode, this episode I'm going to be talking about screen exits, screen boundaries, or not screen boundaries, screen exits, sublevels, and secondary entrances. So first things first, you want the screen boundaries on the level exits, I believe it's called, screen exits. And that's F1, under view, it's right here. And now, the other thing you need to do is pick a level you're going to go to. If you're using level 105 default, as in level 105 from the original Super Mario World, its level is 1CB. This is the level that it has defaulted to it, though you can use any level at all. You can use any level. Though there are specific levels, which I will cover later, that can be accessed from the overworld using Lunar Magic and no other means. So they kind of stop at one point and restart again later. By using the levels in between those two stop and start point that are not accessible from the overworld itself, that is usually a good, those are good levels to use for sublevels because you can't access them any other way. Anyway, back to 105 here. So we have our level, 1CB. So we need to make an exit to it. So what you need to do is go into your standard objects window and go down until you can find any of the with exit enabled. So you have a vertical pipe end on top and with exit enabled. So they pretty much always follow each other if there's one that has an exit enabled. So for example, the vertical pipe double-ended does not have an exit enabled counterpart. And I'm not really sure why it doesn't, but it doesn't. You can make one very easily. You can make one of those, but by standard means, it doesn't have one. So you just want an exit enabled pipe. I am going to go with a vertical with end on top. And I'm going to put it right here and shorten it. Oops. I'm going to shorten it 1. So there we go. I have a pipe. Now, if I save it, I will get this error. The following screen exit enabled objects, or the follow screens have exit enabled objects that lead to level 0 or 0 times 100. Screen 01. I'm going to say yes anyway. What that error is saying is if I boot up the game, and hold on just a second. Okay, sorry about that. I just got a new desk yesterday. Well, I guess it'd be yesterday night because this is going up on Saturday. So Friday night, and because I got a new desk, had to rearrange my whole computer and had my controller plugged into my one broken USB port. Anyway, sorry about that. So, as I was saying, if I come into this level, I have my pipe here, and if I go down it, infinite bonus game. And that is because it leads to either level 0 or 100. So, if we go to level 0, or level 100, they are both bonus games. In general, those two levels, unless you know what you're doing, you never edit them. It is not good to do. And in general, again, never just leave a pipe with exit enabled. It's very obvious. You move anything, you go to save the level, you get an error. If you read the error, you should know. But, that being said, let's do something about this. So, we want screen 1, and we want an exit. So to do this, you come up to this door button right here that has a 1 on it. You click on it, and that's the wrong one. It's the plus or minus door. The one door is something else I was thinking. The plus or minus door. You do this, and it will add delete screen exits. So you want screen number 1. So screen number 1. And level destination, which is 1CB. And you say, OK. Now, when we save it, it saves correctly. So let's go into the game and see what happens now. So if we get to this pipe, we go down into the original sublevel, 1CB. And if we exit, we kind of break the level. And there's a reason for that. The main reason for that is I never changed the secondary exit. So you're actually entering from a screen that doesn't exist in the level. And the reason it doesn't exist is the level ends where the end of land is. So because I have no objects past this point, past screen 7, by entering into screen 8, it freezes. It just breaks. Now, if I added in another piece of land here, let's see what happens. And that's the wrong level. Okay, so let's see what happens when I do that. Add in another piece of land. I go through here, and I exit. And look at that. I don't actually break the game. So you have to be careful when making secondary entrances. So with that said, I have this piece of land here, but I don't want Mario shooting out of a pipe. In fact, I don't want him coming, that direction at all. So what am I going to do? I'm going to make it so to proceed, Mario will need to go into that pipe at the beginning. So I'm just going to build a small little landmass right here. And don't know why I did that. There we go. Put it up one more. And now I have a small little landmass. So to make sure Mario progresses, or the player progresses rather, in this level, he has to go in that pipe. Well, to make sure that the player is actually using that pipe, well, obviously the player has to use that pipe to continue on. But to give him a nice exit, I am going to add another vertical pipe end on top, this time with no exit. So as we can see, I have my pipe there, and we can test the level one more time just to make sure everything's set up correctly. So this time, instead of going through there, I'm just going to go and make sure everything's set up right. I have coins in there. That scrolls. I have my little puzzle that's not really a puzzle. And, see, I forgot a block. But, other than that, it actually looks good. The reason I forgot a block is because this thing is in the way. So, if you just zoom in with F10, usually you can see that. That was a very big oversight on my part. So everything's set up correctly, so now let's actually make the secondary exit lead up to screen 9. So first, let's actually go to 1CB and see how this level has the exit set up. So we can see it says secondary exit. Instead, if we go to 105, it says exit. So there's the biggest thing. It says secondary exit. Well, what does that really mean? If you go into the Add Modify screen exits and go to screen 1, it's set up a little bit differently. it actually has a level destination or secondary exit number, 1CB, and use the above value as a secondary exit number. So this is actually very crucial. Technically, this number right here can be any number. It can be any number from 1 to, I think, FFF. I am not fully sure. I will pull up the correct number in a second. But that can be quite a few numbers. Quite a lot of numbers. Though, I would suggest, if you're making a sub-level, make it the same number for the level if you're only going to have one exit going to that same level. That may not make sense, but what I mean is you have two pipes that lead down to a sub-level in different fashions and then go back to the original level in different fashions. By making them go to the same sub-level, you have to set it up differently. Same process, but using different numbers right here, because if you use the same number, it causes problems. So what you actually do with the secondary exit? Well, what you have to do is you can't just leave it like that. So let's actually make this, let's just say this is secondary exit 1. If you look, it changed from exit 1 to 0. That means that will actually go back to level 0, which is something that we do not want. So let's change this back to 1CB, and it will go to 105. Now, to change this, because as we can see, when we change it to 1, it doesn't work right. So to change this, you actually open this door with a 2 on it, and that will edit secondary entrances. So just, 1FF. It's not FFF, it's 1FF. That is a lot of screen exits you can have. But we're looking for one in particular. We're looking for 1CB. So following hex, we go down, and we have it, down a couple more, right here. Now, if we look, 1CB to level 105. Destination level number is 105. Screen number entrance is actually 9 because we moved it over one screen. And the position will actually set up in a second. And with this is actually a really nice tool. Because even though you set the secondary entrance here on this screen, you can actually modify the entire entrance from the secondary entrance on your original level. That being said, we can see down here the secondary entrance, Mario is being shot out of a cannon. So we want a vertical pipe exit up. We want to set XY position using method 2. The reason I say this is these only have kind of preset locations, and they're not always the easiest to really get a good place on. So I say position 2. And our X is left and right, and our Y is up and down. And the top and bottom are, as far as I understand the screen positions, top and bottom. Though they do have a little bit of overlap, it is top and bottom. So right now we have X equals 0, which is completely against the side of this screen. So we will actually want it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, probably about 6. So this is kind of guesswork. So I was right. That really is kind of guesswork. There is no proper way to do it. You can either count like I did or kind of just guess the general location, then tune it in. So we also want him up 2. And there is a reason you want him up 2 instead of up 1, which I'll actually show right here. So if we have Mario on the pipe, like fully on the pipe, let's go and try the secondary exit right here. And going down the pipe, collecting some coins, and going back up the pipe. This will lead Mario, well, actually didn't show it very well, because I forgot to do one more thing. I forgot to change the foreground and background locations. Because he's so high up on the screen, that should be 0, and I believe this should be 60. So, let's try that again. There is a diagram floating around Super Mario World Central which show the screen positions and entrance foreground background numbers that you want to use. So I have that right, and he actually comes up correctly. So I may have been thinking a bit wrong, but let's look at this one. Yeah, so you want Mario on a pipe. I was thinking backwards. So here's showing him if he is coming up one more out of the pipe. So this way, instead of being on the pipe, he will be coming out of the pipe, which may not make sense now, but it will in just a second. So let me go down here and go over, and I'm actually going to slow it down right here so you can see what happens. So he goes up one tile higher and then falls back down onto the pipe. That happens because of where he is. The best way to think about it is when you're coming out of the pipe, you are going up 2 blocks. Doesn't matter if you're big or small. If you're small, take the position of Mario's head, and if you're big, the position of Mario's feet. So this is 1 block at the bottom, and this is 2 blocks at the top. So you go up 2 blocks and then you sit. So even if you're small, it's 1 block at the bottom, 2 blocks at the top, and then you sit on top of the pipe. So that is why you want to do that. Now, if you extend this down, if I were to come out of the pipe, I would get stuck in the pipe and die. So again, you want to move Mario up. And so you always want to have that 2 block. So block number 1, block number 2. So you always want Mario 2 blocks under from where the top of, or have his feet under 2 blocks from where the top of the object you're coming out of is. There's different things with pipes that shoot you out and whatnot. I will probably cover those later just because they're a little funkier. They're not hard to do, you just have to position Mario, and that's kind of a trial error issue. But for now, I mean, that's really all to go over is secondary entrances. The only other thing I could talk about is the main entrance, which pretty much works the exact same. You have your main entrance, you can specify the midway point, which I put it on screen number 8, and I could actually move this down, shrink this up, and actually give Mario, you know, a proper place to sit for the midway point, unlike I had right now, which doesn't really work. So, as I said, the main, or the midway entrance and the main entrance work pretty much the same. Secondary entrances work pretty much the same. You just have to, most of it's just trial and error, to be honest. You just kind of got to mess with it, experiment, see what works, see what doesn't work, and kind of go from there. The other thing I was told I should bring up, which I completely forgot about, is Mario's jump height. So, hold on a second, let me go and find that really quick. Okay, so the player's jump height is 5 blocks standing still, 6 blocks in mid-run, and 7 blocks barely at full run. That being said, if you had an obstacle that is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 blocks tall, you could actually come into the level and jump over that just standing still. So let's actually just get over to that really quick so I can show that off. So I can, oh no, it's 4. It's 4 from standing, 5 from running, and I guess 6 from a full sprint. I believe that's what it is. I could be wrong. If I am wrong, please someone correct me. But I thought it was 4 standing, 5 running, and then 6 at full speed. I had the other ones one offset because I kind of just copied a comment I got. So if I am wrong and you are right, please inform me or show me somehow so I can correct myself. But that's really all I have. Also, one other feature that I keep forgetting to show off is the tile grid. So we have our zoom, F10, or view, zoom, or even this button right here, zoom. The other one I keep forgetting to use because I personally don't really like using it, is the tile grid. The tile grid is pretty decent because, I mean, it kind of gives you this 16 by 16 tile grid to place things and use it as you would in like Photoshop editing and stuff like that. But I personally don't like it because it is kind of an eye strain. At least for me personally. For me, it's an eye strain. I don't really like using it. So if you like using it, go ahead. Perfectly fine. For me, I don't like using it. I don't believe there's a hotkey on the menu bar or the icon bar, but under here you have tile grid. So that's just something I keep forgetting to bring up. But I mean, the tile grid's always there. It's just you can either have it on, shown, or off. I never use it. It's an eyesore for me personally. So, with that said, there really isn't all too much more to talk about regarding secondary and other exits. But one more thing is, as I've said in the past, change property things. If you want vertical scrolling, change this to vertical scroll at will. It's pretty self-explanatory. No vertical scroll at will, none unless flying, climbing, etc. And no vertical or horizontal scroll. So this one will pretty much just lock in one screen. I believe one screen under the screen number, I think. I'm not really sure, to be perfectly honest. I'm not positive. But it's also your music, your time limit, and memory index, which I will probably go over at a later date. Anyway, as I say over and over, this has been Ninja Boy. If you have any suggestions for future episodes, anything you would like to see, any problems or comments, leave them in the comments down below. And I will be back next Saturday with some more Lunar Magic. See you guys then.